Did you know that in the past year alone, over 70,000 skilled migrants left Australia voluntarily? That's right. These aren't people being forced out by visa issues or deportation. They're packing their bags and saying, enough is enough. Australia, once seen as the land of opportunity, is now quietly losing the very people it fought hard to attract. So what's driving this silent exodus? Is it just about money? Or is there something deeper? Something more personal, pushing these skilled professionals away? From doctors working as Uber drivers to engineers living paycheck to paycheck, the stories are as shocking as they are heartbreaking. And yet, hardly anyone is talking about it. In this video, we'll dive into the 10 powerful reasons behind this mass departure. And trust me, some of them will make you question everything you thought you knew about life in Australia. So buckle up. This might change the way you see migration forever. Number 1. Rising cost of living. It's no secret that Australia has become one of the most expensive countries in the world to live in. But what's shocking is just how fast things have escalated. Over the past few years, prices for essential items like rent, groceries, fuel, and electricity have soared, while wages have barely budged. For skilled newcomers trying to build a life from scratch, this imbalance is more than just frustrating. It's overwhelming. Imagine this. You arrive in Australia full of hope, qualifications in hand, ready to contribute. But before you even land a stable job, you're shelling out $500 a week for a one-bedroom apartment, spending double on groceries compared to your home country, and facing energy bills that feel like luxury statements. Many skilled migrants quickly realize that even with full-time employment, saving money or owning a home feels like a distant dream. The worst part? It's not just a temporary adjustment phase. For many, the high cost of living becomes a permanent stressor, eating away at their mental health, family stability, and financial future. In a 2024 survey by the Australian Bureau of Statistics, more than 60% of skilled migrants reported financial hardship as one of their top reasons for considering leaving the country. And when you're sacrificing quality of life for a dream that feels increasingly out of reach, the question becomes, is it really worth staying? This is the harsh reality many migrants are quietly facing, and it's only the beginning. Let's look at the next major reason skilled workers are saying goodbye to Australia. Number 2. Housing affordability crisis. When newcomers imagine life in Australia, they often picture sunlit homes, peaceful suburbs, and safe neighbourhoods. But the reality many face is far from this dream. Housing in Australia has become nearly unaffordable, especially in major cities like Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. The crisis isn't just about rising prices. It's about access, fairness, and stability. For skilled migrants, the challenges begin right at the start. Without a rental history in Australia or local references, securing a place to live is like winning the lottery. Even with good income, they're often overlooked in favour of locals. Some end up living in shared housing, temporary rentals, or even distant suburbs, spending hours commuting just to afford rent. According to CoreLogic, Australian property prices rose nearly 20% in just 2 years, pushing home ownership completely out of reach for most newcomers. Then there's the rental market. Low vacancy rates and intense competition mean that applicants often have to offer months of rent in advance just to stand a chance. This puts enormous pressure on new arrivals, many of whom are already spending a large chunk of their income just trying to stay afloat. The result? A sense of instability that's hard to live with. Without secure housing, everything else, career, family, future planning, becomes uncertain. And when people realize that they could live more comfortably and affordably elsewhere, many decide that Australia's housing dream just isn't worth the price tag. Let's move on to the next reason that's forcing skilled migrants to rethink their stay. Career stagnation. Number 3. Lack of career growth opportunities. You'd expect that bringing your skills, experience, and education to a developed country like Australia would open doors to amazing career opportunities, right? Sadly, for many skilled newcomers, the reality is quite the opposite. Instead of progressing in their fields, a large number find themselves stuck in low-level jobs, unable to break into the industries they're qualified for. One of the biggest issues is local experience bias. Employers often prefer candidates with Australian work history, even if a migrant has years of experience abroad in the same role. As a result, many highly skilled professionals are forced to take survival jobs in retail, hospitality, or rideshare services just to make ends meet. Imagine being a mechanical engineer or an IT specialist and ending up working in a warehouse or as a delivery driver. Even those who manage to find work in their field often hit a glass ceiling. Promotions and leadership roles are harder to come by, and networking, so critical for career advancement, can feel out of reach for those without established local contacts. This leads to frustration, burnout, and a deep sense of wasted potential. According to a recent government report, nearly 1 in 3 skilled migrants say they are working in jobs well below their qualification level. And over time, that lack of recognition and professional fulfillment becomes a major reason to leave. Because if you've spent years building your expertise only to have it ignored or undervalued, why wouldn't you consider taking your talents somewhere else? Next up, let's uncover a more personal and painful challenge: discrimination and credential barriers. Number 4. Discrimination and credential barriers. For many skilled newcomers, the dream of contributing to Australia's workforce quickly crashes into an invisible wall, a system that quietly devalues their qualifications and experience. While the country actively recruits skilled migrants, it often fails to recognise their overseas degrees and professional licenses once they arrive. The result? Doctors, engineers, architects, and other professionals are forced to start from scratch, retaking exams, paying for costly accreditation processes, or undergoing years of retraining just to be eligible for the same roles they once held with pride. And in many cases, even that isn't enough. There's a persistent belief in some industries that local is better, creating a barrier that qualifications alone can't overcome. But it doesn't stop there. Many migrants report facing subtle yet powerful forms of workplace discrimination, from being passed over for promotions to being underestimated in meetings. Some even change their names on resumes to sound more Australian in hopes of landing interviews. It's a quiet reality that doesn't make headlines, but it deeply affects those who experience it. A 2023 Human Rights Commission study found that nearly 40% of skilled migrants reported discrimination or bias during their job search. And when people feel they're being judged not on merit, but on where they come from or how they speak, it leads to disappointment, anger, and eventually a decision to move on. Why stay in a place that refuses to see your true value? Coming up next, the frustrating delays that make life feel like it's stuck in limbo, the struggle for permanent residency. Number 5. Long wait times for permanent residency. For skilled migrants, the ultimate goal isn't just to work in Australia, it's to build a future here. But that dream is often put on hold for years, thanks to a slow, unpredictable, and emotionally draining permanent residency process. Even after meeting all the criteria, many applicants find themselves stuck in a frustrating limbo with no clear timeline for when or if they'll be granted PR. This uncertainty doesn't just affect paperwork, it shakes the foundation of daily life. Without permanent residency, migrants face restrictions on healthcare access, job security, and even the ability to buy a home or access financial services. Starting a family, making long-term plans, or feeling a true sense of belonging becomes nearly impossible when your future depends on a decision that's perpetually delayed. Some migrants wait 5 to 7 years or more, all while contributing to the economy, paying taxes, and trying to integrate. And the emotional toll is heavy. Constant anxiety, uncertainty, and fear of rejection take a deep personal toll. It's no surprise that many eventually decide to leave and seek stability in countries with faster, more transparent immigration pathways. When the very system meant to welcome you becomes a barrier, the message is clear. You're not really wanted, at least not yet. Now let's explore how social isolation and the lack of a support network are pushing even more skilled migrants to leave. We pour our hearts and countless hours into making videos like this to bring you real, untold stories. So if this resonated with you, drop a comment below and tell us, would you stay or leave Australia? And please subscribe. It's just one click, but it means the world to us. Number 6, isolation and lack of community support. Moving to a new country is never easy. But for many skilled migrants in Australia, the emotional toll of isolation becomes one of the hardest parts of the journey. Far from family, friends, and familiar culture, newcomers often face a deep sense of loneliness that no job or paycheck can fix. While Australia is known for its diversity, that doesn't always translate into inclusion. Building meaningful relationships takes time, and many migrants find it difficult to break into established social circles. Without a strong support network, everyday challenges, finding a school for your kids, navigating the healthcare system, or even just having someone to talk to, become overwhelming. The problem is especially severe in smaller cities or regional areas, where cultural diversity is lower and community resources for migrants are limited. Language barriers, cultural misunderstandings, and lack of community infrastructure can make people feel like outsiders in their own homes. For single migrants or young families, the absence of extended family adds another layer of strain. Parents are raising children without help, partners feel isolated, and birthdays, holidays, or even small victories often go unshared. Over time, this emotional weight becomes too much, and many decide to leave not because of jobs or money, but because they no longer feel like they belong. In a recent migrant experience survey, over half of respondents said social isolation was a key factor in their decision to leave Australia. Because no matter how good the job or how beautiful the beaches, life feels empty without connection. Next, let's talk about a harsh reality that many don't expect when they first arrive: healthcare challenges. Number 7, healthcare access issues. One of the biggest shocks for many skilled migrants in Australia is the unexpected difficulty in accessing quality healthcare. While Australia's healthcare system is often praised globally, newcomers soon discover that access is not equal for everyone, especially those on temporary or provisional visas. Unlike permanent residents, many skilled migrants are not eligible for full Medicare benefits, meaning they have to rely on expensive private health insurance. Even basic services like visiting a general practitioner can become a costly affair, particularly in areas where bulk billing is disappearing. Long waiting times for public services and high out-of-pocket costs leave many migrants feeling like they're paying into a system that doesn't fully include them. And it's not just about money, it's about timely care. For families with children, delays in getting specialist appointments or essential treatments can be both stressful and risky. Add language barriers, unfamiliar medical procedures, and difficulty navigating the system, and the experience becomes not just inconvenient, but exhausting. In fact, a 2023 health access survey showed that nearly 1 in 4 skilled migrants delayed or avoided medical care due to cost or confusion around coverage. For people coming from countries with more accessible or affordable public health care, this becomes a major source of dissatisfaction. When you're working hard, paying taxes, and contributing to the economy, it's only natural to expect a basic level of healthcare security. But when even your health feels like a financial gamble, it's no wonder so many skilled migrants choose to leave in search of a more supportive system. Coming up next, let's look at why even high salaries aren't enough. High taxation with limited returns. Number 8, high taxation with few benefits. Australia is known for its high quality of life, but what many skilled migrants don't realise until they settle in is just how much of their hard-earned income disappears in taxes, often with little to show for it. While paying tax is expected in any country, the issue here is the gap between what migrants contribute and what they receive in return. Skilled newcomers are taxed at the same rates as citizens and permanent residents, yet many are ineligible for key government benefits like Medicare, Social Security, childcare rebates, or even financial assistance during emergencies. This means you could be paying up to 45% of your income in taxes, but still have to pay out of pocket for healthcare, education, and family support services. It creates a feeling of unfairness. You're doing everything right, working, contributing, and following the rules, but the system doesn't fully recognize you. And for those sending money back home or trying to save for a future in an expensive country, the financial burden becomes unsustainable. This situation often leads to a painful realization. In countries like Canada, Germany, or even some Gulf nations, skilled migrants often enjoy better tax-to-benefit ratios. They either pay lower taxes or receive greater support for their contributions. In comparison, Australia can feel like a raw deal. So while the salaries may seem high on paper, the real take-home value is often disappointing, especially for families. When you're taxed heavily without full inclusion, the message feels clear. You're welcome to contribute, but not to benefit. Next, let's explore why many skilled migrants are being drawn away by better global opportunities. Number 9. Better opportunities in other countries. In today's connected world, skilled migrants aren't just choosing between staying or leaving, they're comparing Australia with other countries actively competing for their talent. And increasingly, places like Canada, Germany, the United Arab Emirates, and even regional hubs in Asia are offering more attractive and supportive environments for skilled professionals. Take Canada, for example. It offers a clear, fast-tracked pathway to permanent residency, free healthcare from day one, and an emphasis on recognizing foreign credentials. In Germany, skilled migrants benefit from affordable living, free or low-cost education, and government-supported language integration programs. Even in the UAE, tax-free income and premium lifestyle perks are drawing professionals by the thousands. So when a skilled worker looks at their options, the comparison becomes stark. Fewer hoops, more respect, and better benefits elsewhere. Why stay in Australia facing visa delays, high costs, and limited support when other countries are rolling out the red carpet? There's also a growing trend of secondary migration, where migrants who initially moved to Australia relocate to another country that offers a better balance of opportunity and lifestyle. This isn't just a trickle, it's becoming a wave. According to recent migration data, a rising number of former Australian residents are now applying for Canadian and European visas, citing better conditions and clearer paths to citizenship. When you realize there's a better life just one move away, it's no longer just about staying loyal to one country, it's about choosing the place that values you most. Now, let's uncover the final and deeply personal reason why so many skilled migrants are deciding to leave: burnout and poor work-life balance. Number 10. Poor work-life balance and burnout. At first glance, Australia appears to offer a relaxed lifestyle, sunny beaches, weekend barbecues, and a strong emphasis on leisure. But for many skilled migrants, the reality is very different. Behind the postcard image lies a culture that often demands long hours, high pressure, and constant performance, especially for newcomers trying to prove themselves. The pressure to succeed in a foreign land can be intense. Many migrants work longer hours just to stay competitive or to compensate for being new to the system. They juggle multiple jobs, study for accreditation exams, and try to build networks, all while managing their family and adjusting to a new culture. Over time, this non-stop hustle leads to burnout, exhaustion, and even mental health struggles. Unlike locals who can rely on social safety nets or extended family, migrants often feel they have no room to fail. There's a constant fear that falling behind could mean losing a job, a visa, or the chance at permanent residency. The work-life balance they hoped for becomes a distant dream, replaced by chronic stress and fatigue. In a 2024 Workforce Wellbeing Survey, skilled migrants reported higher burnout rates than any other group in the Australian labour market. And sadly, the cultural expectation to tough it out leaves many suffering in silence. Eventually, many come to a painful but necessary conclusion. Success should not come at the cost of health and happiness. And if another country offers the same opportunities with a more balanced lifestyle, the choice becomes clear. Because in the end, it's not just about making a living, it's about truly living. Australia has long been seen as a land of opportunity, but for many skilled migrants, that promise is starting to fade. From the crushing cost of living and housing crisis to career roadblocks, discrimination, and delays in permanent residency, the challenges are piling up. Add to that the emotional weight of isolation, limited healthcare access, and heavy taxation without full benefits, and it's no wonder so many are saying, maybe it's time to move on. What's even more telling is that it's not just about what's wrong in Australia, it's about what's better elsewhere. Countries like Canada and Germany are offering what migrants crave most: respect, recognition, and real opportunity. And when burnout becomes a way of life, leaving starts to feel less like giving up and more like taking control. This mass departure isn't just a personal decision for each migrant, it's a wake-up call. A system designed to attract global talent must also be prepared to support and retain it. Otherwise, the brain drain will continue, and Australia may find itself asking not why people are leaving, but why they would stay.